Today I need a 1-inch diameter dowel, and I don't have one, and I'd like it out of a very hard wood. So I got this piece of an orange tree that's been drying in the rafters, and I just cut a blank, and I'm going to make a dowel out of it. So the first thing I do is I chuck it up in the lathe, and I'll turn it down. I'll cut it down with a scoop first, and just cut it down to a round, and then I'll show you how to make it a uniform dimension all the way across.
Cool.
So this tool is called a gouge. You can see it's concave, and it's used for doing the rough cut. I have corners on this wood still because it's square, and so before it gets round I need to use this gouge to cut in there, and it'll allow the wood to keep turning while I'm cutting. Okay, so I want a 1-inch dimension on this, and so there's a tool you can buy. You can buy this part, and then I made this part. It's just an old screwdriver handle that I ground off into a gouge, and you can slide this back and forth. So I want a 1-inch dowel, so I'm just going to go ahead and mark off move this down to a 1-inch opening from this tip of the gouge to this measuring tip of the tool. And then I'll tighten that down. And I can use this to gouge several valleys in my blank, and then I'll use the scraper to bring those all together nice and flat. So once I've got the corners knocked off of the blank, I've got a kind of a round blank now. It can be wavy from the gouge, so it's not necessarily straight across here. So the next tool I want to use is called a scraper, and it has a nice straight edge, and I'll just run that across real slowly, and it'll just scrape it off evenly with a nice flat surface. Okay, so I've dimensioned this with my dimensioning tool, and then I flattened it with my scraper and got it down pretty close to the dimensions. When you're using lathe tools, of course, you're chipping a little bit, so the final finish we want to rely on sandpaper for. So I'm gonna, to get a nice flat finish, I'm gonna wrap this sandpaper around this board, so I've got a nice flat surface. Get it good and tight, and just finish it by sanding. Now we have a fairly smooth 1-inch dowel. Thanks for watching.